Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Please be seated.
Thank you. Ma'am, myself Vikas. I have few queries related to customs clearance procedure. One of my friend, Harshit, he has been working in the United States for the last 4 years for a multinational company, and now recently they have transferred him to one of their offices in Chennai. Now he wants to shift to India with his wife and kids, and he wants to bring his household items also with him. So now he just curious that what are the customs rules related to this, and are there any allowances that he is eligible to?
Yes, Mr. Vikas. The government has made a set of customs rules for persons like your friend who have been working abroad for different periods of time and who have returned to India. These are called the baggage rules, and they were passed in 2016, and they prescribed the eligibility conditions and allowances and also the exceptions in such cases. You said your friend had stayed abroad for a period of 4 years, isn't it?
Yes.
So in that case, he is eligible to bring in goods like his personal items and various household items up to an aggregate value of rupees 5 lakhs with certain exceptions. We call this as transfer of residence facility, or simply the TR facility.
Okay, ma'am. So does this mean that these allowances depends on the duration of the stay abroad?
Exactly. Depending on the duration of stay abroad by the passenger and subject to certain conditions, certain articles can be brought free of duty up to a certain limit. For example, an Indian passenger who has stayed abroad for a minimum period of 1 year during the preceding 2 years, he can bring an aggregate value of rupees 2 lakhs. For a passenger who has stayed abroad for a period of over 2 years, like your friend, an aggregate value of rupees 5 lakhs is allowed, subject to certain exceptions.
Okay, well understood, ma'am. So are there no allowances for the persons working abroad for shorter durations?
Mr. Vikas, we have allowances for those persons also. For example, persons who have stayed abroad for a duration of 3 to 6 months and have been working there, an aggregate value of rupees 60,000 is allowed duty free. Likewise, for persons who have stayed abroad for a period of between 6 months to 1 year, an aggregate value of rupees 1 lakh is allowed.
Okay, and ma'am, what kind of items are allowed free of duty?
Please remember, Mr. Vikas, that only certain items are allowed free of duty. You can just refer to the list here, which I have on my system. The articles allowed include a music system, air conditioner, microwave oven, washing machine, cooking range, personal computer, laptop computer, and domestic refrigerators of capacity up to 300 liters. All these items are listed in Annexure 3 of the baggage rules.
Previously you said about some exceptions. So what are those exceptions, ma'am?
When I said exceptions, I meant that certain articles cannot be brought duty free under transfer of residence facility. I have a list readily available in the system. Let me just show it to you. This list includes firearms, cartridges of firearms exceeding 50, cigarettes exceeding 100 sticks, alcoholic liquor or wines in excess of 2 liters, gold or silver in any form other than ornaments, LED television, video home theater system, dishwasher, domestic refrigerators of capacity above 300 liters, deep freezer, video camera. All these exceptions are listed in Annexure 1 and Annexure 2 of the baggage rules.
If my friend brings any of these items, how much duty should he pay?
That depends on the item which is brought by him. For example, if he brings in an LED TV, then he has to pay the normal baggage rate, which is 35%, plus the applicable surcharge of 10% on the duty. And if he brings items like cigarettes and liquor above the limits which is specified in the annexure, then in that case the concession in baggage rules will not apply and he has to pay duty at the tariff rate. And then again, if he brings in items like video home theater system, dishwasher, domestic refrigerators above 300 liters capacity, and a video camera and deep freezer, if he brings in these items, then instead of the normal baggage rate of 35%, he has to pay a baggage rate of 15% plus surcharge. And this is for the passengers who have stayed abroad for over 1 year, or rather over 2 years like your friend.
Okay, ma'am. And is there any restrictions on the number of items that he can bring?
Yes, only 1 unit per item is allowed for these allowances and concessions.
Okay, ma'am. I've noticed that for stays abroad for short durations, you mentioned Indian passengers specifically, but for passengers who are returning to India after longer durations, you did not mention specifically Indian passengers. So does that mean that these allowances are also extended to foreigners?
For a stay abroad of 2 years and above, both Indian and foreign passengers are eligible to avail this facility. For durations of stay lesser than 2 years, only Indian passengers are eligible to avail this facility.
You mentioned about some conditions. So what are those conditions, ma'am?
Yes, passengers whose stay abroad is over 1 year, or for that matter over 2 years, the essential condition is that they should not have availed this facility during the preceding 3 years. There is also another essential condition for passengers who have stayed abroad for a period of over 2 years. That is that their duration of stay in India during the preceding 2 years should not exceed 6 months.
Okay. So, ma'am, now I have some information to reveal that my friend Harshit, he might have stayed in India for a longer duration than 6 months because of the restrictions during lockdown and flight cancellations and all. So, ma'am, is there any reason for Harshit to worry, and what is your suggestion about this, ma'am?
See, Mr. Vikas, like I said, your friend's total length of short visits in India during the past 2 years should not exceed 6 months. However, under special circumstances, the Principal Commissioner or Commissioner of Customs can condone such short visits in excess of 6 months. Likewise, the Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner of Customs can condone a shortfall of up to 2 months as far as the stay abroad is concerned, if it is on account of terminal leave availed by the passenger or under any other special circumstances.
Oh, that's such a relief. But ma'am, along with it, there is one more matter of concern, that as I mentioned, my friend is living abroad for more than 4 years. He might book his baggage through cargo rather than bringing it along with him. So in that case also, he will be eligible for these allowances and concessions?
Yes, all these allowances and concessions that we were talking about are eligible for unaccompanied baggage also. The condition for unaccompanied baggage is that it should be dispatched from the country from which the passenger is coming. It should be dispatched within 1 month of his arrival into India, or it could land in India up to a period of 2 months before his arrival. And both these limits can be condoned by the duty assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner of customs for reasons or circumstances which are beyond the control of the passenger.
Okay, thank you for providing relief one more time, ma'am. Now, ma'am, are there any other allowances besides them?
Availing these allowances under transfer of residence rules, he is eligible for the allowances which are available for any other passenger, like rupees 15,000 which is applicable to the passengers coming from Nepal, Bhutan or Myanmar, or rupees 50,000 which is for the passengers coming from other countries. And this of course will not be applicable for Annexure 1 items. And there is one more point that you have to note, that these allowances are for accompanied baggage only and they cannot be claimed for unaccompanied baggage.
Okay, well understood, ma'am. Now, ma'am, please clarify what are the documents my friend will need for the customs clearance of his unaccompanied baggage?
Yes, he will be requiring quite a few documents. I will just show you the list of it. Essentially, he would require his passport, airway bill copies, delivery order, duly filled baggage declaration form, payment receipts for the items purchased, if it is available, and any other documents in support of his contention and evidence regarding value, usage, whatever would be helpful for the clearance of his unaccompanied baggage. And he would also require a duly attested authorization letter in case he cannot come in person to clear his baggage.
Okay. So, ma'am, now that we have the information about the documents that we need for the custom clearance of unaccompanied baggage, will my friends will be needed in person for the clearance of the unaccompanied baggage?
He could come and go about clearance of his baggage in person, or alternately, he could authorize any approved customs clearing agent, or what we call as the customs broker, for this task.
And one more question, ma'am, that my friend has 2 dogs. So, is he allowed to bring them?
Yes, import of pets, that is cats and dogs only, up to 2 numbers is allowed for passengers who have 2 years continuous stay abroad, subject to certain conditions. Your friend will have to produce a certificate regarding the animal's health from the country of origin, and his pets will be examined by the animal quarantine officer here in India. And because of this, the import of pet animals can be done only in places where animal quarantine is there, like Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta or Hyderabad.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, and I'm sure my friend will be very happy to hear that. And now, can he bring his car also under these rules?
Mr. Vikas, motor vehicles are excluded from the definition of baggage. So, the concessions which are applicable for baggage goods are not applicable to the import of motor vehicles. But if the passenger has stayed abroad for over a period of 2 years and he is moving to India permanently, in that case there are some relaxations in the import conditions as per the import policy, provided the car has been in use with him for at least a year, and he will have to pay the applicable duty as per customs tariff.
And what about arms?
Though import of firearms and cartridges above 50 is prohibited, for a passenger who has stayed abroad for over 2 years and who intends to remain in India for a minimum period of 1 year, he can be allowed to import 1 firearm of permissible bore, subject to certain conditions, like the firearm should have been in his possession and used for a minimum period of 1 year. He can be allowed clearance under transfer of residence by paying the applicable duty, and he should have a valid arms license, and he cannot dispose it up to a period of 10 years after importing it, and also he cannot avail this facility. He can only avail this facility once in his lifetime. That is, TR he can avail once in 3 years, but import of arms facility under TR he can avail only once in his lifetime.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for clarifying all my doubts on customs rules regarding transfer of residence. And I'm sure my friend Harshit also will now be at very ease that his all doubts are clarified. So thank you so much once again, ma'am, for clearing all my doubts patiently.
Okay, it is our pleasure and duty to do this, and we are always ready to help and available to clear all your queries. In case your friend has any other doubts or clarifications and requires further updates, please ask him to visit our website at www.cbic.gov.in. I'm sure he will get all his doubts clarified there also. Thank you and best wishes.